During a lunch gathering, 3 female neighbors were shocked to find that the handbags their husbands had gifted them were exactly the same. At first they thought it was just a coincidence, but soon they realized the bracelets were also identical. Still, they didn't think too much of it, just assumed their husbands had similar taste. One of them suggested they each invite their partners to meet and get to know each other. Maybe they could even become friends. The other 2 agreed, and immediately sent out invitation texts to their husbands, unaware that all 3 were involved with the same man. But the man, receiving 3 invitations at the same time, was completely unfazed. He calmly pulled out 3 phones, replied to each message, and even sent the exact same voice message to all 3. What he didn't know was that he had just walked into a carefully laid trap by his wife. A few weeks earlier, she had already sensed something was wrong. When she tried to check his phone, she entered the wrong passcode, thinking he had changed it. But then a flirty message from a lover popped up on the screen. Only then did she realize he had betrayed her. Yet she didn't confront him. Instead, she decided to dig deeper. Soon she found 2 unfamiliar phones hidden in the back of the closet, confirming the truth she didn't want to believe. Her husband had long been cheating with their 2 female neighbors. Angry and heartbroken, she was ready to confront him, but then a message popped up, showing he had spent $500,000. Suddenly she came to her senses, remembering how she had handed over all her assets to him after marriage. If she exposed him now, it would only hurt her more. So she quietly began investigating their finances, and quickly discovered her $20 million in savings, plus the $5 million in compensation from her late father's accident, had all been secretly transferred by her husband. Even the house they lived in was listed for sale, and the jewelry he had given her was all fake. As her investigation continued, she discovered something even darker. Her father's death might not have been an accident, but a planned car crash. Her father's friend found that the car had been tampered with before the accident. She began to suspect that her husband might be the one behind it, all for the sake of the inheritance and compensation. But she had no solid evidence, so she stayed calm, discussed with her father's friend, and began planning her counterattack. Knowing her husband was careful, she decided to target his 2 mistresses first. By tracking his bank transactions, she discovered that every time he bought a gift, he purchased 3 of the same item, and sent them to 3 different addresses in the same neighborhood. This confirmed his pattern, so she orchestrated a chance encounter, and befriended the 2 female neighbors, subtly showing off the same handbags and bracelets. The 2 women were amazed by the coincidence, and each texted their boyfriend to invite him to join them. But the wife knew he couldn't show up to all 3 gatherings, so she told him she had 2 important clients she wanted to introduce to him. Greedy for money, he declined the 2 mistresses' invitations, and agreed to attend his wife's meeting. Soon the man arrived, but the moment he stepped in, he saw all 3 women sitting together. His face turned pale. He tried to leave, but his wife called out to him, smiling as she asked him to come over and say hello. He stammered, said he wasn't feeling well, and quickly left. Back at the table, the wife casually explained the situation. The 2 neighbors nodded in understanding, but one of them grew suspicious. She had noticed the shoes the man was wearing were the same pair she had gifted her boyfriend months ago. She then subtly asked what the woman's husband did for a living, and found out he was also a real estate developer. Her doubts grew stronger. The wife noticed her reaction, and decided to keep testing. She invited them over for dinner that evening. The 2 neighbors gladly accepted.